Guys, it's Miss Ramsey again. I'm coming to you once again from my mother-in-law's house. Thanks, sweet mother-in-law, for letting me use your house since you have better internet than I do. Um, anyway, good morning, and we're gonna get started with some subitizing like we do every day. So are you ready? All right, here you go. All right, shout out how many. Show how many. All right, how many? How many? Last one. All right, let's go back through, see what you got. What do you see? 5 and 4 is 9. What do you see? 4 and 1 is 5. What do you see? 5 and 2, 7. What do you see? 5 and 1, 6. What do you see? Yell it out. 4 and 3, 7. Last one. What do you see? So 8 and 2 more. That's 10. Yes. All right. So once again, we are working on measuring. We are working on MD3, tell time in hours and half hours. In hours and half hours using analog and digital clocks. Using analog and digital clocks. So yesterday we looked at some examples of analog and digital clocks. We looked at Jonah, Professor Ramsey's alarm clock, and we looked at my alarm clock. And we also looked at my mother-in-law's cuckoo clock. So once again, we might hear it. Keep your ears open. So we'll see. So just in case you didn't tune in with us yesterday, here's the examples of both. So we have got our analog clock. The analog clock is round. It has a face. It has hands that show us the time. Then we have our digital clock. That's what most of you are used to. Like we said, it's on alarm clocks, Fitbits, telephones, ovens, whatever else you look at. So it tells the hour first and then the minutes. Okay. So why do you think that telling time is important? Any guesses why you think telling time is important? Well, there's many reasons that telling time is important. You have to know what time to get up in the mornings. Well, you might not really need to now since you don't have to go to school, but your parents might have to know what time to get up in the morning to get ready for work. Or if your parents or grandparents are doing homeschool with you, they might want you to be up at a certain time. It's also important, like I said, for your parents to get to work on time. Lots of nurses and doctors and pharmacists, they're still working, and so they have to get there on time. It's also important if you have a doctor's appointment and you need to go, you have to be there on time to see the doctor. Parents really want to know when it's time to get off work, so it's important to know how to tell time. And if you get to go watch a movie at a movie theater, or you have to meet someone for supper or a play date, whenever we're allowed to do that stuff again, you have to be able to tell time in order to make it on time. So we are going to pretend that we are on a schedule today. And so I have a few clocks laid out and we are going to practice putting the hands on the clock where they go. And we're going to be doing it on an analog clock, but we're also going to write it on a digital clock so you can see it both ways. All right, so let's take a look at my clocks down here. So the first thing that we are going to look at is we are only going to be doing the hour first, because that's the first thing that you read. You read the hour first. So after you get up in the morning, you might have a schedule and you might eat breakfast at 8 o'clock. That's a good time for breakfast. So I'm going to start right here with this clock, and you do the hour first. So I'm just going to count around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to put my short hour hand pointing to the 8. So the short hand is your hour hand. So that's what time I'm going to eat breakfast. But I'm also going to show that to you on our digital clock. So I'm going to write the number 8, and it always goes first. The minutes will go here, just like when you're reading. You start on this side and go this way. All right, after breakfast, you might have reading, time for reading. I know this morning Jonah read in his Humphrey book. He read 2 chapters, so I hope you guys are reading. So reading, we're going to say that reading starts at 8:30. So I'm going to move over here to this clock, and we're going to do 8:30. However, like I just said, we are only going to do the hour hand now, since that's what you read first, and then we'll come back and do the minutes. So once again, I start up here and go around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to put my short hand. My short hand is my hour hand. I'm going to put it right there. So once again, on my digital clock, I need an 8 in that first space. That one's kind of sideways, sorry, because I'm writing sideways. All right, then after that, you might have some math. And guess what? That's what we're doing right now. But we're doing it at 11 o'clock. On here, we're going to pretend that it's 10 o'clock, okay? Just to practice. All right, so here we go with one more. So here's another clock. And we're going to put this one on the 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to put my short hour hand on the 10. Remember, we read the hour first, and it is the short hand. Now, we've been using our Easter eggs for a long time. So once again, we're going to use those to figure out our minutes. Okay, so we did the hours. Now we're going to go back and talk about the minutes. All right, so we said that breakfast is going to be at 8 o'clock. So we're doing breakfast, time for breakfast at 8. So I have your little eggs right here. So when we start telling time with the minutes, we have to start counting by 5s. So I have an egg right here, and it says what? 0, 0. So that goes up here at the top of my clock, and that means o'clock. So you can see right here, o'clock. That's how it's written. So I said our time was 8 o'clock. Well, 8 o'clock is super easy to show because we've already got our hour going to the 8. And then we just have to put our long minute hand up here pointing to the 00 or the o'clock. So I'll hold it up, maybe you can see it better. So our short hand is going to the hour, the 8. The long hand is going straight up to the o'clock. So let's look at what that would look like on a digital clock. So we've got the hour The hour comes first, just like in the reading direction, and then our minutes, o'clock, 8 o'clock. All right, next we said it's time for reading. That's right, time for reading. So I would like for reading to be at 8:30. At 8:30. Now, if you remember, we put our hour first because that's what you read first. So now we are going to start counting our minutes. So we're going to be doing 8:30. And if you remember with our eggs, that also meant that it was half past. So let's look at that. So we're going to start counting by fives. So I'm going to move my o'clock over here. It goes up at the top. Then we count by fives. So we've got 5, 10, 15. Some of them will stand up and some of them won't. Sorry. 20, 25, 30. But I'm going to keep going. 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and then I'm back up here to o'clock. If I would keep going, 55 and then 60. But we don't say that over here it was 8:60. It was 8 o'clock. We don't use that 60. We use o'clock. So I said that I want us to show 8:30. So let's see if anybody can remember where my minute hand would go. So I'm going to put it here and I'm going to count around 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So it's going straight down to the 6. So we say that that is half past 8. So we can say that it is 8:30 or half past 8. So if I look at my digital clock, once again, sorry, that's sideways. I have 8, the hour first, and then the minutes, 8:30. Or we could also say half past because we went halfway around that clock. All right, let's look at our math time. Remember, we're pretending that it is, what was our hour? Our hour, oh, there, I heard it. Did you guys miss it or did you hear it? The cuckoo clock. Anyway, we are at, the hour is 10 o'clock right here. So that's what time we're going to do reading or math. I think I said math, sorry. So math is at 10 o'clock. So like we said, 10 o'clock is super easy. We have our minute hand going straight up and our hour hand going to the 10. So that is showing 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. So let's look at that on a digital clock. So what number do you think that I need to write first on my digital clock? Can anybody help me out there? I have to write a 10 first because that's my hour and that's what I say first. And then we said o'clock. What did I say o'clock looks like? 0, 0. So this would be 10 o'clock on a digital clock. All right, let's try one more and I'm going to say the time and I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to figure it out and then we will try it out on the clock and see if you get it right. So our math was at 10 o'clock. We're going to skip ahead and we are going to go to lunch. And let's pretend that lunch is at 11:30. 11:30. So here's my clock. So look at it for a few seconds. Remember, the hour goes first. The hour hand, that's the short hand, and then the minutes. So I'll give you a few seconds. All right, let's see if you got it right. So my hour hand goes first, what time did I say? Don't know what time did I say? 12:30 or 11:30? He wasn't listening. Let's pretend I said 11:30 because honestly, I don't remember. Sorry. So 11. And so we'll start with the minutes. So we're going with 11:30. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So did you get it right? Is your hour hand going to the 11 and your straight or your minute hand going straight down? So 11:30 would also be half past 11 because you went halfway around the clock. Half past 11. All right, guys, I hope that you've learned a little bit about clocks. I know it's really hard to read analog clocks. I know some adults that have a hard time reading analog clocks. So you guys are going to know how to do it. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, and I think I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.